We're going through the city centre of Livorno, and Livorno is. Have you ever heard of Livorno, by the way?
Yes.
Most of you have, right?
Yes.
Yes. Also, because Livorno also has an English name, Leghorn. Did you know that?
No.
Yes, it was given by the Brits, Leghorn. Not because of the Leghorn chicken, but because actually they say for a type of straw that was growing in this area that was also used to make the straw hats for the English imported. That's right. Yes, there was a very high quality straw in this area here. Right, we are now in Piazza Grande. All right, Piazza Grande. We are in the heart of the city. On the right hand side, we can see the Cathedral of Livorno. Unfortunately, like a big part of the city, even the cathedral will be destroyed during the Second World War raids. So unfortunately, it is a copy of the one that was consecrated. The first consecration was done in 1606. Here we go. We can see on top we have the coat of arms of the Medici family, the architect spheres. Something that we're not going to see in Lucca, right? Because Lucca, by the way, is the only city that never fell under the Medici dominations, remains independent until the arrival of Napoleon, right? So the history of Lucca is completely different from the other cities of Tuscany. It's a fascinating city. But what about Livorno? Livorno has a very unique history, and actually Livorno is a young city of Tuscany, all right? And also I can say it's a young city of Italy, right? And at the moment, we, as I said, we're coming from the port, we're going through Via Grande, that is the principal route, city centre of Livorno. This square that we are passing by now, driving over now, yes, I'm saying over, you know why? Because this is also a bridge. This is not just a square, as we can see it, right? But it is actually the widest bridge of Europe. 241 meters wide. If you look on the right hand side, you can actually see water. There they are. There it is. And in fact, we have the canals of Livorno. All right. Livorno was constructed at the end of the 1500s. Okay, at the end of the 1500s, and well, it will be the Medici family, okay? The Medici family from Florence, or better, where were the Medici from exactly? The Medici family, halfway through the 1300s, moved into Florence from the Mugello area, so from the outskirts of Florence, from the countryside, one of the areas in the countryside. They moved into Florence as bankers, and they became the bankers of the Pope, and they became one of the richest families of Europe, halfway through the 1400s up to halfway through the 1700s, when then the family died out because the last member of the Medici family, Giancastone, had no children. This building that we can see here on the right hand side, that belongs to the period of Livorno of the 1800s, is our water deposit, our central water deposit. Yes, you would never guess that it is a water deposit. Inside there are actually several pools, right, where water is conveyed from the outskirts of the city to this building here, where, as I said, in fact it's called Piazza del Cisternone. Cisternone means big cistern, right, and through pipelines into the houses. Right, it's a very interesting building, right? As I said, difficult to understand that it is the water system, the central water system of Livorno. On the right hand side, we have this, one of the city parks of Livorno, the Parterre, that was also considered one of the oldest city parks of Livorno. It was actually also a zoo many years ago, a little zoo, but there's no animals anymore, just a bit of ducks, and that's all. Okay, so not like it used to be. And then this is Viale Carducci, that is dedicated to Giosuè Carducci, who was a very famous poet of the 1800s, right? Who also lived for a period in a very, very important area south of Livorno, that is in Bolgheri, because his father was a doctor and he was working in this village that then later on in time becomes famous for wine, for the Super Tuscan wines. Maybe you've heard of Super Tuscans. Alright, now we're crossing L'Aurelia. This road here is the coast road. It's considered to be the coast road of the Roman times, and that's why it goes through Livorno. Basically, it connects Rome to France. And we have in front of us, in distance, right in front of us, that we can start seeing the central station, train station of Livorno, right? Once again, even the central train station of Livorno was constructed halfway through the 1800s, when obviously traveling by train becomes a new ways of transportation, right? And let's say that that historical period is also connected to the period in which people were coming on vacation to Livorno, because Livorno, from basically halfway through the 1800s, becomes the place to come on vacation, on holiday, to enjoy the benefits of seawater, that is thalassotherapy, and well, also to cure tuberculosis due to its very mild climate. Okay, so they start constructing many hotels in the city, on the coast, and also beach clubs were built. We've got among the first beach clubs of Europe, but we also had spas, a beautiful spa that we're going to pass by very soon. This was closed down years ago, many years ago, right? And I want to show you actually the spa section inside the Hotel Coral. That is really heartbreaking to see it, that it was closed down. Obviously, you know, there was the war and everything. So, and also because then Livorno became an important industrial port and wasn't touristically important anymore. But I want to show you the spa that they built here, when yet this area here was not the section or the beginning of the industrial area of Livorno. On the right, very soon. It's incredible. Obviously, this horrible ramp was not here either. Look on the left.
Wow.
Obviously, all the buildings that we see in this area did not exist. Alright. As I said, now this area here, this is the northern part of Livorno, and it's, as I said, also in the industrial area of Livorno. Yes, you know that people would come to this spa because the water had health benefits, and it had also a salinity. In fact, there was a period in which they were also producing Coke here, right? And the Coke, they say, had a special flavor because it had a bit of salinity, so it really came out very well, right? So something interesting. Also, because remember that, well, not far from Livorno, we also have a big American base that is camped up, and it's actually in the county area of Pisa. Right. So now, regarding who will come to live in Livorno, as I told you, the Medici family, well, they took over, right? They became the rulers in Florence, but, well, in time they also became the rulers in most of the cities of Tuscany, apart from Lucca, right? And Livorno, since the 1400s, belonged to Florence, in any case, to the Republic of Florence. So, well, the Medici family had big projects for this area. They wanted to create the ideal city, right? And they were constructed in a pentagon shape with the canals, when I showed you a little part of the canals, right? But to populate the area, they stipulated the so-called laws of Livorno, permitting all people with problems in their past life to come here, have free settle, and could start a new life. So who comes to Livorno will be, first of all, the Greeks, because they were expert sailors. Then it will be the Jews running away from Spain and from Portugal where the Inquisition was so strict, stricter than in Rome with the Pope, with their king, right? That since the 1400s, many Jews had decided to leave Spain and Portugal, looking for other destinations around Europe. Livorno becomes the ideal destination for them, right? A liberty of commerce, and never had a ghetto, right? In fact, Livorno has the second biggest Jewish community of Italy after Rome. Then it will be the Armenians, the Dutch, and also the English for business. But why did they come? Well, they came because Livorno became a tax-free port. The tax-free port will be created with still the Medici, with Ferdinando I Medici, right? And Livorno remains a tax-free port until the unification of Italy. That will be in 1861, right? So remember that before 1861, Italy was not united, and there were independent state cities, right? So this is something very interesting, and this is also why the Italians are very different from region to region, you know, under all points of view, I say. Because let's say that, well, moving around Italy, you probably have noticed how even architecturally the styles really change from region to region. Even, for example, our neighbor region, that is Liguria, where you were 2 days ago, you were in Portovenus, right? We're close, but it's completely different under all points of view. Under the architectural point of view, the way they speak, and then every area obviously has its local dishes, right? Its local wines, really the diversities of many, and also the way we speak, all right? In the sense that, well, you know that in Italy there are hundreds of dialects. I think there's no other country in the world that has so many dialects like in Italy. Obviously, the official language is Italian, and I'm honored to say that the official Italian language actually comes from Tuscany. Okay, so that's why we are the special ones. In other words, we are the best. Alright, now but the official language started with Dante Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy. Alright, he decided to write the Divine Comedy using the language of the people, the Florentines, right? Or better, the vulgar, right? Intended as the language that was spoken by ordinary people, all right? And that, so that became the official Italian language. And let's say they weren't using dialects, or better dialects, Latin anymore, right? Now, when I say a dialect, now many of you are from the UK, so you understand what I mean, because even in the UK you've got a lot of dialects that are really dialects like ours, right? In the sense that they are distinct languages. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right. So, even in Italy there are many dialects, but mostly when people think about dialects, I'm sorry to say that people think about the south of Italy, but it's wrong, because even in the very north, for example, if the Venetians speak to me in their dialect, I can't understand the word, so I have to say, please speak to me in Italian. Not because I want to be poshy, it's just because I can't understand. Right?
Yeah.
As I said, it's incredible, you know, it really is. Yes. Sometimes, not to make you understand, they speak in dialect, in fact. Okay. Alright. So, now we're going on to the highway, right? Going obviously inland, because Lucca is inland. Before we start speaking about beautiful Lucca, first of all, time flies, and I better give you my list, because I need your names on my list. My list will be coming down on the side of the driver, reaching the end of the bus. Then it'll come up the other way, so that I can get all your names on my list, so that I can check you in when we gather back together again to come back to the port, to the ship, well, obviously at the time schedule that we have planned. So we will be meeting, let me count, 9. Ah, perfetto. Okay, yes. We will be meeting in Lucca, just to start reminding you, at noon. All right? We've left even a little bit earlier this morning, so no, but yeah, perfetto. Okay, 5 hours of total up and down. All right. So, I will show you exactly where we're going to meet at noon in Lucca. All right? Because that's also why you have a map, and it's very, very easy. Okay, so I haven't. Obviously, I know that many of you are from the UK today. Many are from Samara in these days are from the UK. Who's from the UK? Oh, okay, okay. Who's from the US? All right.
Hate to admit it.
You from?
The U.S.
The US. Okay.
We hate to admit it.
We say Canada depending on who we're talking to.
Where are you from? Oh, we're from Toronto.
That's why I wear my Muslim hat.
All right. That's funny.
We have the mango.
That's unique.
We have the mango Mussolini at home.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, we've had our problems in the past, so don't
I know,
worry.
that's why I called them that.
All right. So, in other countries, we've got some Australians today. Where from? Where from?
We're from Sydney.
Yes, from Sydney. And there's a lady at the back too, I can see. She said she's from Australia too, right? Okay. Yesterday I didn't have any Australians. Not one. Normally on Asamara, instead there are Australians too. Right, okay. Nobody from New Zealand?
Yes.
No?
I thought I talked to someone from New Zealand.
Ah, okay, no. Anybody from New Zealand at the back?
Staff from the ship.
No Kiwis today? All right, okay. All right. So who has never been to Italy? You've all been to Italy, right? Like all of you today. Very good, very good. Have you all been to Tuscany too?
Yes,
Most of you?
Yes.
Who hasn't been to Tuscany before? Okay, right. Well, obviously, you know, the UK is very close. So it's easy to go up and down from Italy to the UK, right? It's true. We're just an hour 45 flight from Sweden. No, well, let's say by plane it's just an hour 45, so it's very close. Australia is really far away, right? But the States is not too far.
7.5 hours.
Yeah, depending where it's a 7 from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, JFK. Pizza to J.
Newark.
From Toronto.
From Toronto. Where do you live?
We live very north.
40 miles northwest of New York City.
Oh, okay.
So we're on the border of New York State.
That's
So-
right.
And
from
where we are the Black Bears. So it's very rural.
rural.
No
Yeah.
human beings.
No human being.
No,
Well,
human
they're
You're
beings. are-
lucky. You're lucky. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's true. Pisa, New York. I went to New York. I think it was 8-hour flight.
Okay.
Yeah, with Delta. So anyway, it's not that far. Like
Right,
it's in
exactly.
Australia's really far away. It's a day of flight. So it's a big difference. Okay. Now it's a lovely day. You're very lucky because climate-wise, it's perfect in these days. The temperatures dropped down a little bit. Last week was a nightmare. It was so warm. Altogether, it was a bit too much for us.
Really?
Yes, very, very warm. How was Florence yesterday? Temperature-wise, it was nice, right? It was nice, yeah. Okay, so now, I want to tell you because I understand that. Well, you know, the Italians are not easy either. You know, to understand them. They're a bit weird. Yeah, they're a bit crazy people. In the sense that, as I told you, Italy is a young United Kingdom. All right, we only go back to 1861, so that before they were independent state cities. So, what is actually Tuscany? Tuscany is a region of Italy. Italy is divided into 20 regions. All right, a region is a sort of state of the US, of Australia, right? So that's what a region is. It's a sort of state, but politically not independent like the states of the US. More or less, the rules are the same on all the Italian territory. So I normally compare it to the US because obviously everybody knows that the US states are 50, right? We have 20 regions, all right? There are different sizes of regions. Tuscany is a big region because it has 10 cities. In population, I wouldn't say that much. In total, 4 million people live in Tuscany. Remember that Tuscany is lots of cities, 10 cities, but it's also very rural. So we've got a lot of countryside, a lovely coast, and islands. Because remember that we also have islands, okay? The islands of Tuscany are 7. All right, did you know that? No? Yes, there's 7 islands, part of the archipelago of Tuscany, and we've got like, in front of Livorno, I'm sure that you noticed that there is a little island in the middle of the sea in distance, and actually it looks like a face with a little nose looking up to the sky. That is Gorgona. Gorgona is the only prison island of Europe today. Okay?
The
Fine.
Italian Alcatraz.
That's right, it's Italian Alcatraz, absolutely. Tuscany had more than one island that were prison islands. There's also another one near a very famous island of Tuscany, very famous, Elba. Have you heard of Elba?
Yes,
Yeah, Napoleon.
Very good. Not
Naples
only
was there I saw in Elba.
my roots are from there
How
because
true.
my parents were from Elba.
Yeah.
Yes, both of my parents were from the island of Elba. And just around the corner, they were both born very close to where Napoleon was living, exiled. Wasn't the worst place, I must say. It's very beautiful. All right? And Elba is the 3rd biggest island of Italy after Sicily and Sardinia. Oh, another island that is really famous of Tuscany is
San
Monte
Jose.
Cristo.
Yes, the
All right?
count.
That's right. Monte Cristo, because Alexander Dumas has made it famous around the world. It's a complete national park area. You're not even allowed to navigate around the island of Monte Cristo.
And you have Epstein Island.
No, that's
That's where?
in the Caribbean. He's being funny.
Which one is that? Tell me, because I've lived there.
It's off of St. Thomas.
St. Thomas?
It's off. It's a
Yeah.
little island off of St. Thomas.
St. Kitts?
No. It's like a tiny
It's
little.
the pedophile island.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We could see it when we were in St. Thomas. You
Oh,
could see
so
it.
it's just like Antigua and Barbuda, right? It's a Barbuda's
Right,
a little
but
island
I
next
think
to
it's almost like
Antigua.
it's what's it called? St. James Island.
St. James.
St. James Island, yeah, because the names are more or less all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Antigua and Barbuda, then Barbuda's little next to Antigua.